Good morning, this nice cold morning.
Morning, Roger, and everybody.
Morning.
Eventually, that Swiss franc Japanese yen paid off.
I did in the end. I just mentioned that this morning in our meeting this morning. It did. I thought we got not the first time, but by God, we got it back the second. I'm still in it. I bring the stop loss up to profit. I've got a wide gap on it. I've got about a 70-80 pip gap on it. I'm still in profit, and I'm hoping to get it back to 163. A big smile. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that because that rescued that one. The Brent looks.
It was my third time, so lucky.
Brilliant. Well, brilliant. Brent's not so good, but that wasn't our fault. That was CPI, but we made it back in other areas. So yeah, NZD CAD, I think some guys might have got out of it already before it came and got smacked in the CPI. But so that didn't go too badly. I just want to go through a couple of things at 1:30. So before we do that, good morning, Anna Marie. Yeah, I know. I thought it might take out. It's still not quite 80-40 stop loss, so I'm still hanging on in there. But with the dollar being so weak, it's not looking good. But I'm not going to take. It's gone so far, so I might as well hold on. A miracle might happen. You never know. So I'll let it run. Okay. I just want to say to newer guys, I think most people know the score, but I'm going to try and make a habit starting off. And before I share the chart, saying clearly my name is Roger. You can unmute. If you want to interact verbally, it's very important. This is the forum, you do just that. But if you're not interacting verbally and you've got background noise, please just mute yourself. We don't want to interfere with the trading room. And if that happens, I have to mute everybody. It doesn't take 2 seconds, but it's better not to have that. Okay, if you're a bit nervous, not sure to do that, no problem. You can interact on the chat line. That's fine. Ask any questions. Remember, this is not a class like your learning class with Stock Market College. This is completely separate. This is quick trade. This is the broker's class. This is where we learn practical aspects of trading. We share ideas. You don't learn just from me. I learn from you as well. A lot of the ideas which get sent out, we found in the trading room with your help, which is important. And anything you're not sure of, we've got beginners, intermediates, and experienced guys. Just please post it. I won't be going to great details on indicators because that's for the classes, but I can clarify. You say, well, I like the look of those red-blue lines or magenta lines. What the heck are they? And that's no problem at all. But that's just basically it's a forum. Like a family interact. I'm trying to make it happen, just updating everyone on that. So if you heard it 100 times, sorry about that. But you guys are coming in all the time. You need to make them feel welcome because we started. That's a good point, guys. Remember, everybody started somewhere. You might be a brilliant air pilot, but you stood in the aircraft for the first time. Same principle here. So we're on your side and ask if you're not sure. Okay, I'm just going to share the chart. Just about 1:30 or coming up to it. So let's just share these so you can see it. If you can't, just tell me. You should be able to see it now. All right, good morning. That's a hot thing you got on there, Solly. I think you've got to put the freezing one on here. Because it is a bit nippy, but I like to have my windows open, let fresh air in, so there's no point putting a heater on. But anyway, it's not the end of the world. Not exactly the Russian front 70 odd years ago, or 80 years ago, whatever it was. I don't know how those guys survived at all. Good. Okay, let's start off the trade idea before we go further. Morning, Anthony. We got the trade idea out. Remember, it's sent to everyone, but it's fresh off the press, first of all, to the trading VIP group, and to get in at 105.20 on the ask or the buy. So it's breaking even because of the spread, but actually it's gone up 4 pips on the signals. So we'll see what happens from here. Probably drift around a bit after yesterday's jumping around, but the bottom line behind this, we'll discuss why, is I use these moving averages extensively. It's now gone into the buy zone. It came down from a sort of a corresponding correlated weakness of the dollar yesterday, and it bounced, seemed to hold, and it came down and bounced again. So we think we might get a bit of upside. no guarantees. That's what we think, and that's why we send it out. So, there's a reason behind the madness. I want to show you something else which helped my cause a little bit. I think from here, just put a quick fib in for you. Okay, and he came down to 38.2 fib as well. You see, so 38.2 fib, bounce off the 50-day moving average and a bit of support along these lines here. That those three were good enough to say, plus it's in the buy zone now and is held in the buy zone. Those are the four factors I thought would be good enough to go up. We checked some of the other 4 hour, 1 hour, and the rest of it, but didn't really give us any major negatives on it. So we thought we'll stick to this as a trade idea. Just so you know, we're not thumb sucking for the heck of it. So if it goes wrong, well, this is what we know now, and we thought it was a good idea. Something comes up and it shoots down there. Sorry about that, guys. Clearly, that's outside my control. Okay, that's what I say. Get your position sizing right in case the market does funny things, which it has a habit of doing. Those who traded for a couple of months or more will realize. Okay. So, that's interesting, Pietro. Very interesting you brought up there. Tell you why, because I thought it might be a possible sell. There you are. Why could I sell there? Oh, buy, you bloody idiot, Roger. Why would I get a sell? Hey, you're going for a sell. I'm going to buy on that one. This is why it's so important to discuss it, because that's how the market works. You've got to have different opinions. If you don't have a market. You don't have any buyers. How can you sell? If you don't have any sellers, how can you buy? So clearly, I was thinking of buying it, but to be honest, I discussed it this morning in our morning trading room. Not you guys, I mean ours, And let's let these guys in. And because we didn't at the time, we're looking at it. It's down here somewhere. We didn't see evidence of buyers. We thought maybe it'll pull back to this level here to buy it. If you're going to sell it, first in the buy zone. Number two, 64, a fair whack, wrong than I thought actually. 64 pips is a fair whack away. It might, but my problem is it seems to be getting an indecision on the hourly. But maybe it's getting a bit of not very great, not a lot of resistance there. So I'm actually leaning towards buying at a better price. If you want to short it down, will you get a risk reward to try and take into account a 60 pip move, which might occur? Might be the operative word back here. Do you see my point? So I'm not thinking enough needle the bone for a sell, but I think it might be a little bit preemptive to buy it. But I'm keeping up. That's what I'm thinking more of a buy. That's my thinking, Peter. What's your thinking? What's everyone thinking? Everyone thinks maybe it could be some downside here. What do you reckon?
Hi, Roger. Just because the first thing that caught my eye was the double top. Okay, I thought, okay, maybe a double top could go down. The risk reward is not the greatest, but you could make something out of it. And then on the technical indicators, I use the stochastic and the CCI, and they looked like they were going downwards on a bearish trend for the moment. That was my thinking.
CCI is a consolidated channel indicator for those who don't know, quite a useful one. Actually, I've sometimes not very often used indicators as much as you know, but I actually prefer to stochastic, but I hear you. Yeah, on the 4 hour, you could find the stop losses looking a little bit prettier there. Will you get enough though? If you put it just above the 4 hour, remember this is only an hour and a half candle, so it's really a very, very tight stop from that point of view. And even then, you're only getting a potential 70. You might just squeeze it. You might squeeze it if you can aim at the 4 hour there, the stop just above the 4 hour candle. I personally, it's not for me. I can take a risk, but that to me is a little bit empty for my blood, I'm afraid. But that is a possibility if you want to short it. I'm going to see if I can come back a bit and buy it. So I'm looking to buy it at a better price. But if you want to short it as an aggressive short-term one, that's your choice.
Look, I went in and I'm already at 120 points. So I'm just taking a chance on that one. Okay,
fine. No problem. Yeah, it's a bit of downside there. It might come right. Okay, right. Good enough. Morning, Marcus. EUR, I've done that one. Double top and four. Yeah, true. Morning, sir. I've couldn't buy. Yeah. Before we do the, I just want to mention the ZAR. Always remember, guys, I think most know it, but just in case, the ZAR is what we call an exotic. You get the crosses, which is the AUD, the CAD, and NZD. And then you get the majors, which is the Swiss franc, and what's called the euro, Japanese yen, and the British pound all against the dollar. Okay, now they're the most liquid and the biggest. And because it's called an exotic, it tends to have, well, it doesn't tend to, it does have much higher costs. You've got to take that into account, and it will have a higher margin. The deposit will be higher, which means, all right, your leverage will come down, but it means you can't really trade it if you've got a small account. I think it's about 600 rand for one micro leverage. So that's going to choose up a bit of your money. So if you're going to do the dollar rand, you do need some money in your account, not a couple of grand, preferably a bit more than 4 or 5 upwards, something like that. And you just got to bear in mind the costs are higher. And the dollar's playing its silly bugs at the moment, but the rand could do the same as well. The rand can do some funny stuff as well. Load shedding's coming back, you know the idea. Anyway, the bottom line being, it's come back off quite a bit simply because of the dollar. I think the rand's got a heck of a lot to do with this, to be honest. I think that's more the dollar. The dollar weakened and it's come back to this level here. So bottom line is, do I think the rand can sustain those levels? I'm not so sure. I do see the possibility of upside. So Brady, yes, I do agree with you. But please, guys, if you haven't done trading more than 1 or 2 trades, I'd rather you left this one. This is for step 2, not step 1. I don't want people to cut their teeth on the rand because of the reason I gave. And if you got under 2 or 3 grand, you just don't want to tie your money up on something like that because it is, and the costs are much higher. That's universal, not just here. Bear that in mind. But other than that, it's right in support, it's right in the 200, and the dollar weakness is, I think, is a bit overcooked at the moment. I think 100 is going to hold, and with increasing load shedding, talk about load shedding level 8 coming up, not there yet. It's all talk at the moment. And after that major fall off, mainly to the dollar, from 19.15 right down to 18.30, 18 on the dot, there is a likely bounce there. I agree. Okay, so if you want to do that one, you can, but you do that on your own. So I just want the guys who trading that should be able to work out the reward, etc. Okay, I don't want to encourage new guys to get cute with it, but I agree with you, Brady. Okay, any other comments on that? Yeah, I know it's been heading some stop loss since yesterday because of the CPI. But I'm letting it run. It's only about, what was it now? 84 is the stop. Get stopped, so be it. Happens, you know. No, it's still 80. That's not too bad. Might get lucky. Okay. Yeah. Where was I? Sorry, that in this guy here. Right. So, any comments on that? If you get it right, it'll be very profitable. But I'm strongly suggesting you guys, especially guys with small accounts, rather stick to the majors and the crosses before they get too cute with this one. But yeah, like I said, guys who traded before, I agree with you. Yeah, that's fair enough, Pietro. Yeah, better fish to fry. And remember as well, this is a daily chart. It's come off for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So, and it's on support. So there is a high probability of a bounce. I'll do the Dow before we come to gold. Dow, I think it's going to come back. I agree. I'll go to the micro. I think it will come back. It tried a weak dollar, came back. It's still a little bit too weak on the dollar for the moment for me to preempt downside, but do I think it's going to occur? Yes, I do. I don't think those highs are going to be. I don't think we're going to go to push this. The dollar's really got to come off. It's got to take out 100. You've all got the DXY. Just make sure, copy and paste it for you. Just give me a moment. Okay, as you can see, it's 100.47 at the moment. It could come back to 100, but if 100 is taken out and starts dropping further, I'm not sure that's going to happen, to be honest. Then we could see upside, take that out. I don't think that's a likelihood, but I think we're getting a bit cute to try and get too cute with it now. Let's try the weekly. How far do we put the stop? Where was it then? What's this date here? That was in December last year. We're talking about 7 months ago. You took it, if you take it here, 347.50. Yeah, I tend to see a bit of downside coming in, but I think you're being a little bit preemptive. There's plenty of downside meat on the bones to look at if you want to be a little bit cautious on it. If you want to be aggressive, we can look at it because I think that's going to hold. So even the very weak dollar. On the micro, you can probably do it. Well, have a look anyway. See what you think of it, guys. But you're being a bit preemptive. But if you take the risk and it comes off, what a pleasure! Because as I say, you'll have those extra pips before the other guys join. Sorry, let's just do this a little bit. Do it there, and you're going to have to aim there to make it worthwhile. That's put 33,000. Is that 33,000? I want a weekly with dickhead. 525. 33,518. Could you actually get to 33,000? 33,500. Then that's going to work. We'll try it. No, it didn't work. It's going to have to take a little bit lower. Maybe down here. That would work. But I've got a very wide stop there. It's got to take out 35,000. It's going to have a hell of a weak dollar to take that out. So, but the thing is it took 115 rand a micro. Anyone want to take the aggressive approach and go for this? Brady's idea. Let's look at the four. We'll go back to the daily. Let's look at the 4 hour. Let's look at the 1 hour. Seems to be holding there. Might get a jump on the dollar, maybe a bit of profit taking. Not a bad idea, actually. If you can afford it, you want to do it, and you've got enough capital to tie it up, it's going to cost you 150 rand per micro. On the micro indices, it's 1,014 rand if you do the normal one, don't forget. So if you do 0.01, the normal one, you've got to have at least a 30 grand upwards account to make sure, 25 at least, 30, something like that. But I do see the possibility. And if you get it right, it does. You should do very well. We did about 600 pips last time we did it. Something like that anyway. But yeah. Yeah. Okay, wait for confirmation, we'll move on. Okay, fair enough. If everyone's agreed on that, nobody's saying to the contrary, so we'll move on. Just make sure we've done that. Gold, have missed anybody? Right, gold. Come back to that if you change your mind, always relook at it, you know, no problem with that. Sort of trade rooms for. Gold, yeah, it's gone to the buy zone. Technically, it's a buy. Absolutely, yes. Put the costs back up, get prices back up again. Yeah, clear is upside. There's no doubt about it. It's hovering around. It might get a bit of a pullback. I'm not sure I'm joining it now, or although it's we call it the technical damage has been done. It's gone into the buy zone. So yeah, I'm with the buy at the moment with the rand, sorry, dollar so weak. Yields, what's the yields doing? The other one, your yields are weak, which is very weak, good for gold. I'll put that up for you as well if you haven't got it.
Morning all. I agree with Nikki. I'm a little bit concerned about the PPI announcement today.
Thank you. Forgot about that. Thank you. PPI is coming out later today as well. It's not as powerful as the CPI, and the CPI preempts it, so it's most of that's discounted in. But any change around on that could have an effect. Yeah, good point. I'll do that point. I'm going to copy the paste on the calendar for you. Yeah, mind you, what you guys about. I forgot about myself. Yeah, will do. Yeah, how it affects it depending on what the data release comes out at. But yeah, PPR9. I'm not sure I'll be joining it now. The guys who took the gold on the yesterday's whatchamacallit would have done CPR. CPR would have done very well. That's what I say. Run with your trades, and then you should do pretty well out of it. I chose USD JPY for whatever reason. Right, now I'm going to come back and get you guys to laugh at me on this one. You know, I go on about give the trade a chance, run with your profits, don't take your profits too soon, which I did. I held on to JPY overnight. I mean, it came nicely. I saw the dollar coming off. Pietro, I think, went in again, and it was doing nice, and it bounced up. I'd already had my stop loss in profit. It's still away from a stop loss. And then I did what I tell everybody not to do. I took the bloody profit. I was so annoyed with myself afterwards because it just jumped up, panic not. I was protected anyway. You know, I was still protected and I took it. And then it came off again. I was doing the moment. But I was annoyed with myself because I did exactly the same emotion I'm telling you guys not to. So the guy's been doing it a long time still does it. You just got to understand it's such a powerful human thing. And not just I took a profit, but the extra profit missing out on annoyed me a bit. It's not as much as I really castigate myself. And I thought the guys I picked on for taking it too quickly, if they could see me now. So I just thought I'd own up to it and said, we're all human. So yeah. Ah, well, there you are, Pietro. Yeah. And then it's coming off again. And I had the TP in, the rest of it. I was protected. Oh, I was annoyed with myself. Anyway, I'm not doing that with the CHF JPY. Now, so that probably Murphy's Law kicked in. What's that doing? Yeah, it's coming off a little bit, but I'm still nicely protected there. I'm hoping we might get a bounce right up, but I'm trying to ride that. I'm not going to move my stop anymore. It's a nice gap. Leave it. We get stopped up, make some money. Leave the bloody thing alone, and hope it really shoot the lights out and run with the profits. Oh, I was annoyed myself. I thought I'd share with you as a bit of a laugh at my expense. Okay, good. Also true, yeah. I mean, I make money out of it, yeah. I'm just a little bit. I'm not annoyed about that. I'm just more annoyed. I did exactly what I told you guys not to bloody do, and that's why I was rather annoyed. Let's come to your other trade first. You mentioned there. What was it now? USD JPY. Where is it? There's something else. Sorry, GBP JPY. I knew something there. Now we had some figures out today on this particular one, which the GDP was slightly lower than expected, weakened the pound a little bit, but it's still very much in the strong zone. So I'm presuming, yeah, ultra long. Yep. Herald, technically speaking, it looks like some upside. I quite agree. Technically speaking, I totally agree. What am I worried about? I'm just worried about the pound at the moment. I don't know. I'm just not over comfortable buying the pound at these levels. That's just me. But if you want to go pure on the technicals, I agree with you. Let's have a look at the weekly or something. Maybe get a bit more confirmation there. Seem to be holding on the weekly. What about the 4-hour? Bit of indecision on this one. To be honest, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. Not very helpful, I'm afraid. But when I'm not sure, when in doubt, stay out. So I'm gonna chicken on this one. Sorry about that. What do the others feel? I don't anyone going to do this one. Just don't worry about me if I'm a chicken. You know, you can be a Rambo. You know what I mean? Yeah, thanks, Anna Marie. Rub it in. I would rub it in the other way around. Feel free to take the Mickey. Not powerful enough, in my opinion, Sam. A lot of people ask that. That's why I'm not trading Robin. We sent out the banner out to the VIP group. Just be aware of it to remind. And thank you, Vicky, pointing that out. Nikki, sorry, pointing that out. But I just don't think it's powerful enough for the hassle and the. There's not enough meat in the bones for that. Just keep an eye on it, but I'm not sure. It might work out, but I'm not going to push for it. Straddle trade.
What about the ET strategy on that one?
What about that guy? Yeah. Yeah, that makes you more comfortable. Yeah. How far is that? 18 pips. I usually go about 15. Yeah, we quite like it. It might pull back a bit, maybe getting a bit cheaper. I don't know, but what the hell? Where's 50 pips from here? We like a 50 pip one. Where's 50 pips? It's nicely out of the way. It's only an hour. That's 90 pips. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. This is held. So on the EJ1, yeah. EJ1, yeah. Yeah, if you want. But I think it might go a little bit small. That's purely momentum. A bit smaller than you normally would. But yeah, the EJ would work, yeah. Okay, normal story. Use about a 50 pip stop. Okay. Rumbling. Okay, if you want to do on that basis. Okay, so that would work, but I'm a little bit hesitant on the normal trading on that one. Okay. Pop, 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 pop. Go right, the EJ guys. We've got other stuff to learn before we get too cute. Okay, so forget about EJ if you don't know about this stage. Worry about that down the line. If you want to do it, yeah. But yeah, technically speaking, yes, I'm reaching it out. Okay. Anyone want to do it? I'll put the R up for you. Do it possible. There's a downtrend, NZDCHF, very much so. There's a downtrend. But leave alone. Okay, right, I'll move on. Will Brent go back down? As long as the dollar remains weak, probably not. If the dollar can actually strengthen a bit from here, it's had a nice run up on Brent. You might get lucky. You might get lucky. 80 seems to be holding. Bit of luck at the moment, just doing it. Okay, it seems to be trying to hold on the 80s. You might get lucky. I'm still in it. It's 84 to the stop. I'm not playing around that stop. I'm going to leave it for a penny and for a pound. Might get lucky. Keep an eye on that dollar. Okay. Otherwise, so be it. Okay. Nothing more I can add to that. NZDCHF. I haven't missed anything. Yeah, in there. NZDCHF. I hit my target, I think, if I remember rightly. I think some of you guys should hit the target. I think it came down to the target. I put mine slightly the wrong place. Yeah, it did. So you should have hit that. That hit the target. Okay, that hit the TP. Should have been miserable about Brent. Well, that hit the TP. Fantastico. The downtrends, I don't even doubt that. The Swiss has come back to its normal strength level, not just against NZD, but across the currencies, all of them. So I like to have that stability and strength there because I know what to buy and sell against it. NZD has gone up. It's now broken through what was resistance, and now it's popped back up and it's testing it what is now support. So that is support on a downtrend, and it seems to be holding. Let's just look at the 4 hour. It seems to be holding. 1 hour seems to be holding. See, trying to pop up, buyers are coming in. So I do see downside of that. The question is, do you want to try and wait a bit, get a bit of a better price at 55? It might get to the round figure and you risk missing the trade, or do you want to go in now? Let's see what the trouble is. You do go in now. You mean down there, it's only 60 pips. Week, you're not going to get anything better. You have to go to a month, and even that's not ideal. You see what I mean? Going back to October 19, which is nearly 4 years ago, to get a worthwhile TP. That's my only worry. Unless you're going to do a bit of a short-term aggressive trade where you think I'll take it down here, which is about maybe here, about 60, maybe 55 pips, and risk a very tight stop, maybe just about here on the 4 hour, about a 30 pip stop, which will be above those three moving averages. That's an aggressive one, but down's the name of the game. I don't doubt that. Or get a slightly better risk reward and hope it gets to 55 and get a slightly better price to short it. Leave it alone, or do the aggressive one, or what I've given you as information there. What do you think? That's called Soslo. I quite agree. Very important law of trading, and if not trading, in life. That's called Sod's law. Leave it alone. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, but yeah, it's in the sell zone. No doubt about it. Sell the rally if you get a decent risk reward. No doubt about it. Okay. Okay, Chantal, fair enough. AUD NZD. You want to sell it? Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it's not seem to be happening much, does it? If you look at those candles, what's this distance here? It's only 40 pips, and it's right in the middle of a 40 pip range. And it went down, the buyers came in. If you get a look to sell it, remember they're pretty similar in currencies, these. Probably if you can get a confirm from there, maybe sell it down here, and they're not going to get a risk reward. Now, I personally don't think there's enough meat on the bone for that one. Don't think there's enough meat on the bone for that one. You speak to Neo there, Pitt. So yeah, I'll agree. Yeah, what Peter said, I would agree on that. But we'll have a look at the moment anyway. Okay, just think there's enough meat on the bone for this one. But if you like it, I'll come back. No, I'm definitely going to leave that. Right, AUD USD. Yeah, it's taken the previous highs out down here. Clearly, you can see that more the dollar movement than the Aussie dollar. If we take it up there, no, it's just not enough meat on the bones. PPI coming out, absolutely, not enough meat on the bones, which is even more important than PPI, in my opinion. If you're on board, great. If you're not on board, that ship's sailed. I always say Joburg to Durban. You don't want to be buying at Pietermaritzburg. You want to be buying into, I'm sorry, going down to Durban, selling short. You don't want to be selling short to go down to Durban. You might get away with Heidelberg, but past Harrismith is too far. And that's to me, and this is the moment it's in Pietermaritzburg. So your stop loss is basically in Pretoria, and your TP is in Durban, and you're in Pietermaritzburg. If you know the geography and live up here, you know what I mean. That ship's definitely sailed. So I'm going to leave that alone. It might fall up. I'm saying it won't. You definitely get a risk reward, and the risk for trying to grab 40 pips. No, it's just not worth it. And I think the dollar might get a bit of a bounce, nothing else, profit-taking bounce. I'd leave that definitely. You can try the PPI to straddle, but it's not often a very big mover. So it might be a damp squib. But if you want to do it, but I wouldn't go. I mean, we'll do the CPI. I mean, I always suggest we go a little bit bigger than we normally do because the likelihood is very highly there. It worked out. But the PPI is not as much so. Only often the Fed actually looks more at the PPI, sometimes the CPI. But I just don't find normally in past history the jump around is that big. So give it a go if you like, but it could be a bit of a damp squib. Don't expect fireworks, but you never know. I don't know. Your choice. Stick with the euro dollar. I'll tell you what you can do. Maybe go for the AUD USD one. That's a bit high up. Try this one. How's that for an idea? Try this one to make a change. Try AUD USD. There you are. That one or the NZD. Similar situation. The Aussie seems at the moment slightly weaker than the NZD, so rather go for the AUD one. On the PPI, yeah, I'm talking about that. Sorry, I see what you mean. That's a typo, I know what you mean. Yeah, for the PPI, try the AUD. Those who want to do it, AUD. Okay, there you are. But as I say, you don't know what's going to happen, but I wouldn't expect fireworks. Okay, I had a couple to look at earlier on. One you mentioned, EURAUD as a buy. You wanted to sell it, but I want to see if it's come back a bit. I want to sell it. So have a look at that quickly. I wanted to buy it. You wanted to sell it. That's great running around. Not much happening there. That's very quiet, isn't it? Very quiet. I think it's potential upside, but obviously wait for a better price. That's one I look at. NZD CAD was another one. Potential sell. I was looking at if we can get a decent one there. NZD CAD. This, you see, I'm worried about it breaking up here. Can you see what I mean? It was there when I first looked at it. I hope it's going to come off, get a confirmation. Put his head above there. It's not made me quite as comfortable. Just look at the shorter term charts. Not enough confirmation. Keep an eye on it. I think it's a possibility, that one. And another one looks at EURNZD. No, it's a bit too close. You got the spread to contend with. Stick with 10 pips, Anna Marie. I'm talking about AUD USD if you want to try it out, Sam. But no, stick to 10 pips. 5 is a bit too close. and a little bit of movement there, it could easily get filled. You really got to be a virtual piano player to keep them fiddling around, keep them, you know, up and down so they don't get filled beforehand. Stick with 10, in my opinion, anyway. But AUDSD, yeah, that's the PPI if you want to do it. Okay, where were we? EURNZD, yeah, this one, EURNZD was a buy. Hang on a minute, buy, not a sell. That might be a different story. Yeah, buy. Yeah, that's right. EURNZD is a buy, because it's up there before, but it's not seen to be happening at the moment to break through. Keep an eye on that. If you come back to around about this level here, we might buy that. So, yeah, I've got 2 or 3 waiting, but I haven't got any confirmation. So the only one we got at the moment out today at the moment is the CAD, JPY, very quiet, hovering around just a little bit below entry and not much in it. Very, very quiet. Probably a little bit of quietness after the big party of last night. Everyone, all the trades a bit hungover from the big party last night. Okay, Chef, JPY, still flying, that's good stuff. Brent, any movement there, hovering, not much going on there. Dollar yen, somebody mentioned the dollar yen. Oh, no, I don't want to bring that up. Oh, I'm annoyed with that. I should still be in it. But anyway, if anyone's still in it and did that yesterday, which it should be, what a pleasure. I had the TP at 130, I was protected. I should have let it go. But anyway, I didn't. Okay, do I want to join it now was the question I think was asked. No. If I did want to join now, I would have gone back in again, but I didn't. Okay. If it's your first time, Neo, I'd rather you didn't. It's up to you. If you insist, I'll show you, but it's not as much fireworks. I think I'll show you how it's doing, but if it's your first time, I'm suggesting, unless you do a very, very small position. I don't know what your account size is. I've no idea. If you've got a few $100, nothing's not going to work anyway, whatever you do, because it gets too small. But that's the problem. I don't know what your account size is. Yeah, I think probably if you don't know, first time, not sure the mechanics of it, on your own might be a little bit iffy. It's up to you. If you insist on it, you can. I think maybe work for the non-farms in August, first Friday of August. And we'll do a proper session there and you get the mechanics right. You get a bit of hand-holding, in my opinion. But I don't know what your account, Neo, have you got above 3 or 4 grand in your account? Have you got below, well, say 2.5, 2 grand. If you got below 2 grand, I don't think it's to cut your teeth on that. It's really worth your while. Just for guys who died before. I have a K. 1K is very, very, very small. You can try it, but 0.01 if you want on your own. 0.01. What you do is this. If you're not sure, you're not comfortable with it, rather wait. You're going to pay more opportunities. But what you do is you put it on a 15-minute, not right now. You got to make the entrance. You've got to place the trade 5 minutes before the 2:30 release today, and you put it. Make it a bit clearer here. You put it 10 pips above and 10 pips below. So you go AUD and ZD. You go in. You put in your volume. In this case, 0.01, and then you put in buy stop. And you put it 10 pips above the market. And then you put it 10 pips above the buy price, which is 6844. Ignore that last digit. That's the point. Don't worry about it. 6844. So you put in 0.6854 clearly. And then you place the order. I don't want to get filled, so I'm just going to keep just right click trade levels, and I can see it there. Okay, I want to make sure I get it filled suddenly. And then what was it? AUD USD, double click again, and then you go to the pending order, put in this time a sell stop, and it'll be 10 pips below, not this price, but this price. We'll call that 0.6828, and you place it. Right. On the release, if this order gets filled, the first thing you do, you don't put stop losses, by the way. You delete that one, run with it, it's coming down nicely, then you put in your stop loss, etc. If that hits, then you delete this one, and then you can put your stop loss and run with it. Okay. That's how it is. If you're not sure how that works, and it's still a bit complicated for you, I think rather give it a miss this time. There's plenty more options coming up. You know, learn your stuff. You've got a month of trading room experience to pick up, and then join me there for the non-farms on the whatever first Friday of August. I'll tell you now. Give me a second. Click on there. August 1st or Friday would be the 4th of August. Yeah, 4th of August. There you are. We'll be doing it then. So you got a couple of weeks or so, a little bit longer to get the hang of it. Okay. We prefer people have 2Ks or more in their account for this sort of thing. So 1K is a little bit small, and if you've never done it before, I think it'd be more prudent to just wait back a bit, because your balance, all due respect, is tiny, and you can't really fiddle around to the small balance. One couple of knocks and you're out the game. You know what I mean? So try and, if you can, get some money to earn. You need working capital, and that's not really working capital. Okay. Well, it depends on the dollar, Nikki. If the dollar continues to stay around the 100 mark, or even doesn't go much and starts coming off again, you're going to get stopped out, Brent. If the dollar can get a decent bounce, it might pull back a bit. Depends on the simple as that. But I was listening to an oil pundit on the Bloomberg this morning, Nikki and guys, and they see this more upside than oil. That's a pundit, could get it wrong. I mean, nobody can tell what the oil price is going to be, or the oil price is going to be in a week, 10 days time, or 2 years time, or whatever. It's guesswork. But the pundit, that's what they do. That's analysis on oil. That's what she does. You know, and she's not employed by Bloomberg. She didn't know what she talked about. You know what I mean? So, but she sees this further upside. So it might come back a bit, hopefully, to maybe get a bit of damage limitation, etc. But being as it may, you got your stop loss. You're not going to win every trade. You had your strategy. You see what happens. Okay, fair enough, Neil. Okay, I can go good with that. Right. Anything else I wanted to mention? Any questions, guys? Anything you want me to go over? Any trades you want to look at? We've had a few got a bit of a knock on, but remember, I keep going on. Get your position size calculator and make sure if you take the knock, you can handle it, so you don't get sleepless nights. And apart from me, dollar yen, yesterday I'm rather annoyed about. Try and give your profits a chance. Give your trade a chance. Try and take your profits too early. Basically, we all made that mistake, and try not to do that. You know, if you take your profits too early and you hold on to your stops. Now, look at it this way. Your TP is a target and your stop loss is a target. If every time you're hitting your target and the stop loss, very rarely taking a target on the TP because you're getting out so quickly, you've got to win a hell of a lot of trades to make up the one you're going to lose on, if you can get what I'm talking about. So just bear that in mind. Try and run with it. I'm more human, that's why I shared it with you. I'm a bit annoyed myself, but still, I should try and run with it. I'm running with a CHF JPY, and I'll prove it. Come to that in a minute. Just go there, show what I mean. Where is it? Trade levels. Go on the daily. Here's my trade levels. There we are. I bought at that price there, as you can see. Stop loss is above, so I'm not going to lose on it. I'm going to let the damn thing run. I'm not going to panic if it comes back like it did in the yen. I'm going to let it run and then see if we can hit the TP up there. Okay. In fact, I might even try and put the TP up higher. Let it run. Okay. It's holding on to that at the moment, but it might have a pullback and breakthrough. Every time it's come back, look at it. Every time it's come back, its buyers are coming in. So I'm holding on nicely on that one. And it's 130 pips up. 130 pips, guys, and I'm not taking it. You get the idea. Try and run with it. Okay. What were you looking at now? I won't be chasing it now, no. If it pulls back, you can, but if it pulls back to maybe 159.50 or I don't know, we'll look at it, but I know I won't be chasing it down there. EUR CAD. EUR CAD, EUR CAD. I think I had one to look at. No, I didn't. Okay. The EUR CAD, clearly in the buy zone. It's right at resistance, guys. It's right at resistance. Yesterday and today, as it bounced up, the sellers came in defending that resistance, and the Canadian might pick up a bit of strength going forward. I wouldn't be buying this at the moment, and to sell it in a fairly strong buy zone is also not good. And the buyers and sellers are telling you on the candle, it's indecisive. Buyers coming in and sellers are coming in. This is one I wouldn't be going for now. Okay, that's the reason. Remember, I do go on a bit. I know, I'm sorry, guys, but I want you to understand why. Don't do it. That's not good enough. Why not? I try to give reasons why I'd leave it alone. And it covers my arse if it goes wrong, because I had some good reasons for it as well. But,
Yes, but that one also hit the stop loss yesterday after the interest announcement. That was
Oh, did it?
from
Oh.
the 11th.
Oh, that's right. I think might have a shorted or something. Yeah, it was doing quite well. That's look.
No, it was in for a sell.
Ah, that's
trade.
right. For a couple of days ago. That's correct. It was doing okay at one stage. What did it got in? 145.85. Yeah, it was down there somewhere. It was actually came down to there, didn't it, to one stage? So it did okay. Some people modified their stop and maybe broke even. Might have made a couple of round profit on it. And then I think a lot of people did modify the stop, but those who didn't, unfortunately, stopped out. But that's the CPI. That's the way it is. Okay. Right. Anyway, that being as it may, I wouldn't be going for it now. Let the thing alone. Leave it alone for the time being. Okay. GBPNZD will come to euro in a minute. GBPNZD. We'll look at that one quickly. GBPNZD rings a bell. Look at no. The pound has been a little bit weaker than GDP. But having said that, it's clear in the buy zone. I think it was mentioned earlier on this particular session. Technically, it's come down. The support is holding. Technically, it's an upside. I'm just nervous for the pound, to be honest. But and the New Zealand's fairly weak. If you're going to do that, we might do against the New Zealand dollar. But technically, we're going to put the stop down here. Too far away. Even that's far away. Where can we put the stop? It's 100 pips stop. There's plenty of upside. You can get a risk reward if you're on 100 pip stop, 170 pip potential profit its target. Yeah, technically speaking, I'm nervous of it, but that's just me. But technically speaking, Edwin, yeah, that's looks like upside there. Let's look at the 4 hour again. Buyers are coming in. I get that. What's about the 1 hour? Seems to be trying on the 15-minute. I'm going to chicken out on this one, but technically speaking, it's okay if you want to do it. Anybody want to do it? I'll put the R up if you want. Anyone want to do this one?
No, thanks.
Okay, fine. Right, we'll move on. Okay, let's just see some comments. I'm just reading them. That's why I put quiet. We'll do Euro 7, then we'll read those comments with some quite pertinent stuff on there. I want to go through. Oh, that's clearly a sell. The Swiss is by far the strongest at the moment. Whatever you do, don't be selling the Swiss franc. Right. Right. Clearly. You're right on the bit of support, as you can see here. See what I'm doing? It's not very difficult to see that, is it? Got the crosshairs up and see that. Potential down there, no problem at all. That's the weekly. The daily, we're going to put the stop. You could probably squeeze it. I think it's going to get a 96 and it's going to get an oversold bounce. And then we can get maybe at 96.50, a bit of luck or better. Maybe tomorrow morning is an opportunity tomorrow. I would just leave that alone for the moment. But otherwise, one daily, well spotted. I agree. I like it. I just think get a better price. Hope you know what I mean. I like your house, one daily, but you're asking too much, man. I want to negotiate a better price with you. Same principle. So yeah, I think it's maybe get a bit of a bounce maybe this afternoon, or the trading will have another look tomorrow. Okay. I'm not joining it now. If you disagree, tell me and I'll put the stuff up. You think Brent will bounce back? I hope so. Dollar's going to do some serious work to go do that. I'm not so confident, I'm afraid, to be negatively honest with you. Right, I want to read some of the stuff here. We're all hoping short. Long way from TP. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's one of those things. Right. I'll do the chicken, yeah. Clap, clap, clap. All right, and Tommy. All right, first one. my trades never reached TP since I started trading because I always modified. They go options and always reach stop loss. I need more discipline. In a nutshell, yeah. That's why I wanted to point out. In a nutshell, yes. I'll tell you right now, the difficult trading guys who've been around a bit will understand exactly that. It's not the knowledge part. This is not brain surgery. Trust me, it's not rocket science. They say it's the mental stuff. I'd say, like top sports people, the number one in any sport, the skill set differential is probably not much different than number 10. The difference is the mindset, the discipline. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I've made such a point of marching him on the US dollar yen, which I held with discipline today, and then I took it at a much higher price when I needed it down, even though I was protected. And that's why I'm admitting to, even doing for a while, my discipline I forgot about, and that's why I'm annoyed. And that's the trouble when you weaken like that. It's actually not always the money, and you fed up with yourself. You're fed up with yourself. You know that famous song, George Benson's song, which Whitney Houston covered, what's called The Greatest Love of All. No doubt about it. You've got to love yourself. And when you do daft things like that, you weaken the discipline. Oh, I don't know about you, but I berate myself. Especially, I tell you guys not to do it. So probably, yeah, even after a while, one tends to do it. Yeah, but try and get that discipline going. Very important. Very, very important. Because how many of those trades reach TP, not been on board, but they've always reached your TP on the SL. So you've got to target TP, target SL. Most of you taking it before it gets to the target. It might not get there, to be fair. That's why you do modify, I get that. But a lot of them do get there, you're not on board, and yet always on board for stop loss. That's the problem, absolutely. It is tough. Like I said, I've been doing it for years and I still chicken out myself. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get across. It's just one of those things. It's a constant. Remember what's his name, David Beckham, interviewed many years ago, and he says the only time I don't feel pressure when my bedroom door is closed. When I'm out there in public, it's 24/7 pressure. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's discipline for you. You know what I mean. And yeah, sometimes you just weaken. That's why I just shared it with you for that reason. Okay, we're all human. And it's not if I made a loss in it, I lost over £1,000 potential extra profit. But it's more of a discipline side of it. Anyway, never mind, moving on, made the point. Okay, now anything happening on what's the time now? Oh, plenty of time, right. Chef JPY still doing okay. Had no problem there. The other stuff, anything you're worried about? Not talking about Brent, that's been done. I've said the CPI looks like it's going to be not so good, but we might get lucky. Yeah, we might get lucky. See if the pound can jump. Oh yeah, my number, guys. If you got 2.5 grand or more, I can make you a member of my channel trading. So give me a second. Okay, I can't assist people anything below 500 rand. I'm capitalized. Even with 500 rand, very little value give me. It's just lack of funds. You need capital in this business, but never mind. I can still help. But if you want to get some extra funds in, I'll upload them a VIP group. Not the VIP group's not the main benefit. If you've got extra funds, you can diversify. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. A lot of things you simply can't do. You haven't got the funds. You're missing out on. And even you can get into the odd trade with a small amount of funds, you can only get into one, and you can't get into the others. So you're always going to have all your eggs in one basket. And anybody in any business will tell you, I'm just going to make a joke about having 4 wives, but I better not. But you need to diversify. So any investor will tell you, you need to be in 3 or 4. If one fails, you've got the other ones who can come, in theory anyway, can protect you or come back for you. So if you got 2.5 grand or $150, something like that or more, please let me know. If you're not already on the group or you haven't got me, clearly you're not with me at the moment, just let me know and I'll assist you from there. Anyway, got my number. Yeah, if you want to, are you in that? If you're not in it and get a better price, you do it. I still can stick with the trade. I like it. It's all there. The trade came in on the buy at 105.20. It's 3 pips below that at the moment. So it's still valid. So Nick, if you're not in it, or you are in it, okay, well, let it run. Bit quiet at the moment. Might be in it till Monday, you know. Some night might be quiet Friday afternoon, so it might be a few days. Who knows? Anyway, there you are. Yeah. Funny. You upset me now. Don't upset me. I've been on about this thing was 1.14. Chicken out, look again, chicken out. Should I, shouldn't I? Not my blah, blah, blah. Whoa. Look at that. No, that's this one and the dollar yen at the moment, a little bit of a touchy subject to me. But getting over me whinging on, let's get back to business. Yep, I agree. Downside, yep, I agree. I agree. Just because I missed it there doesn't mean they don't get another opportunity. It's done extreme technical damage from being in the buy zone through the neutral into the sell zone. So
exactly, yeah, that is what I think. We'll see.
Yep. And it's what I like about it. It's had a decent profit-taking bounce that's been done. So it looks like an entry here. We can put a stop's a bit close, make it a bit of a wider stop, give it a bit of room to breathe. Maybe there. Yeah, I like it. You get a risk reward here.
So can we go in then, Roger?
I think so, yeah. I just want to get a decent risk reward.
Okay.
Just say, give me a moment. My days of being multitasked and well gone. Yeah, about there I'll do. 1.1340. And here we're going to go at, take it down here. Good chance to come here, fair whack down actually. Now you can take it down here. Could even come down here actually. Yeah, give it a big shot. 1.11. Get around for here. 1.11. The pound, I've been on about it for quite a long time. Doesn't really matter about TP, you can always modify it a little bit further up. There, that'll do. Okay, we might go further. I've been on about it for a long time. Pound, I think it's just been kept up there with high interest rate potential and high inflation. But against the now back into the master seat is the Swiss franc. It's against that one, and its technical damage is done, as finally actually spotted. And the pound, I think, its GDP watches are good. I expect some downside here. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. In fact, not too late from that point of view, Farney, but we want to bounce. The bounce now happened. That's now the technical damage in force. Yeah, well, thank you. I like it. The problem is, guys, remember this is 170 Rand a micro. So you need 2 grand your account, or you're going to be grossly overexposed. So anybody below 2 grand, they can do it for what's your money. If you've got a couple extra grand, you're going to be putting in because you can afford it. Yeah. But if that's all you got is a grand, you're going to be grossly overexposed, leave it alone. But the proper principle of trading is because of the risk per micro, you need 2 grand minimum your account upwards. That's why I keep saying, guys, please understand, I'm not pushing your money for your sake. You need to have capital. You need funds. You're underfunded. If you can't afford it, don't do it. It's not borrowing and begging, no. But I'm just saying, if you've got a couple of grand lying around your savings account, which you can risk basically, get it in here and then you can diversify. Give yourself a better chance. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy with that one. Anybody like it? I certainly do. Are you doing it there, Mr. Farney?
Sorry, sir. Yes, I'm in. I managed to get that 12600.
1.12600. Put that down. Says Pietros, we're going to go for it. 1.1340 and 1.1100. And it's, was it 4170 and 335. Okay, so I'm going to post this because a few people like it. Okay, quite a few like it. So I'm going to post this, and if they want the levels, I'll give it to us. I'll write that down. So I have to keep, so I can go off the top of my head, like quick and easy, and all you guys up that way. Just give me a moment. Aha, nice one, Colin. Nice one, nice one, nice one. Okay, if you don't want to talk about EJ, don't worry about the state of the game. Other stuff to learn. People battling to get certain things like contract size, don't want to get too cute, the EJ one. So those are no, carry on with, great. Well, bloody done, nice one. Good, see if it happens there. Just going to check to see if it's going to be done or not. Just check this. Okay. Okay, good stuff. Right, knock that off. See how that goes. Okay. Half the time I forget to do it myself. I want to do this one myself. But I'm just gonna go a small one, maybe a little bit bigger. F. So, I don't go horrendously big either, because I'd rather build it bit by bit. What was this? What was the stop? I've forgotten that. I've got it written down wrong. 1100. Okay, that's correct. Okay, right. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's see how that runs. Luckily, Brent seems to be bothering people. It's not looking good. I think you're going to stop out this one. Anyway, it's one of those things that happens. Look at the Japanese yen is flying. Okay, so yeah. Right. Any other question of trading? If not, we'll spend a couple more minutes as those guys still don't understand the contract size and implications thereof. Because I'll tell you why I mentioned that. A guy, one of the clients came up, and one of his I think it was his brother or a friend of his, went in the same position size as he did, and the other guy made 10 times more money, didn't understand it. And I didn't until he sent me a shot of his mate's screenshot, then I immediately spotted he was with another broker, and other brokers have different contract sizes. We have 10 on gold. His broker had 100 on gold. So clearly, 0.01 and 100 contract is 10 times larger than the 0.01 and 10 contract on gold. And that's why, and then we solved it that way. So don't forget, contract size, very important. A lot of brokers out there have 1,000, not 100 for oil contract size. Most of them have 100 instead of 10 for gold, to give it more parity with the NASDAQ and more to the point of the Dow. Because remember, having a 10 on the gold and a 10 on the Dow doesn't actually make a lot of sense in a lot of ways, because it's such a big disparity in the figure. But that's why they have 100 instead of 10. Just bear that in mind. But we have 10 and we're sticking with it, so that's it. But I went through it a little bit yesterday, quite a bit in fact. I hope you all got the idea now. Check your specifications, but it's no point in checking it if you can't understand what the information is. and it tells you the contract size. Remember, share is 1, this is 100,000, oil's 100, silver's 500, gas or natural gas is 1,000, and clearly all these are 100,000 on Forex. It's 100,000, nothing to do with the price on Forex. The other's 100,000 times the figure up there, but on Forex it's 100,000 pounds or Swiss francs or New Zealand dollars, or whatever the base currency is. Just bear that in mind. And that, of course, is your margin. If you want to know your leverage, divide this figure into 100, and that'll give you your leverage. Okay. Just check further down. Full access means you can buy or sell it. Some would be long only, you can't sell it, or exit only means you can't buy new stuff in it, so you can only exit, that sort of thing. GTC, you all got to know what that means. Got to cancel on a pending trade. It doesn't apply if you're in. Fill or kill, if you know what that means, it's quite simple. You're in or you're not in. You're not going to be partially filled. It's irrelevant on the balances we have here, but big guys in Europe and America might put in, let's say, $1 million position on GBP CHF. They wouldn't have fill or kill. They would go in as the buyers and sellers take it up. In other words, I'm putting 100,000 tons of fillet steak on the market. I get an order of 20,000 here, the price shifts, 20,000 there, the price shifts, till I eventually get all my 100,000 sold or on the market. You get the same sort of principle. So fill or kill, all that means a whole lot's going to go in the way you're not going to be in. It's virtually irrelevant as far as you're concerned. Okay, just so you know if you see it, what it means. Okay, so it's good to know about that one. GBP CHF is seems to be sort of hovering around there. CAD-JPY, that's one we did this morning. Still hot, but it's moving a pip an hour. Bloody slow, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think that's about it for the moment. We looked at the Dow earlier on. Most people were a little bit nervous to take it. Don't blame them. Nothing much happening there at the moment either. Euro CHF is a possible one, but we want to get a better price. So we chat about that. I think we've covered everything. Oh yes, don't forget to save your charts. If I can make a habit of telling you that in case you haven't. Right click on the blank part of your chart, and then left click, right click and then left click on save template, like that. And then it comes to save template up, you put your name in there and then you save it. So if you lose your charts, you just quickly go there, templates, and there it is. Specification you got my number and everything else. Okay, anything else, Q&As, anything else you want to discuss, any other trades or anything like that in normal fashion? Try and have a bit of value going into the 11 o'clock close. Nobody? Okay, just remember the saving features as well. Roger, sorry, I missed this. That's still okay, no problem. Very simple. SL is 1.1340. TP 1.11. Ah. Fine. Ah, yeah. Should have said that. I think I'm going to get teased by Mr. Pitfall. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions on what I talked about yesterday on position size? You all got your calculator, contract size, what it means. Remember, that's the spread. It's got nothing to do with the leverage whatsoever. And that's why you have two: the Dow Jones Micro and the Dow Jones Normal. And one is 10 times larger because the contract is 10 times bigger. Are we all clear on that now? Because these are vital points. You don't want to hold up everybody for one person, but if it's quite unlikely, a couple of moments. Okay. Any questions on the trading averages or anything like that? Just don't forget pen and paper, bring them along. If you're not sure, just voice them. And then we'll clear them up. And you find a few bullet points saves you hours and hours and hours of studying 43 books.
Roger, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, it's just a random question on spreads versus like commission accounts. So
Yeah.
I know with commissions accounts, you would pay like a brokerage fee and like swaps if you stay overnight. And then with swaps, I mean, with spreads accounts, you would obviously pay like swaps. And then with the spreads accounts, what is that form of brokerage fee that you would pay? Is it the spread that you would pay?
Well,
When you
basically, it's like the zero on the roulette table. That's the spread. Remember, if you're buying here, you're going to, what's this, 4 pip loss. That's got to, 28's got to get to 32 before you break even. If you sell, that's at 28. That's got to come down to from 32 to 28 for you to break even. Okay, so that's why when you enter a trade, you're in the minus. The commission ones, you get the commissions on top. A brokerage like it, but I'm to get myself in trouble here because I work for the company. But a lot of guys on commissions take their profit too early, take a 10 rand profit, and wonder why they made a loss because there's 15 rand commission. With the spreads, you know when you're a profit or loss because it'll be red or blue. Once, if you're buying this, once that goes above 31 or 32, even it says 1 cent in the blue, that's yours. You get the idea.
Oh, okay. So then obviously with the spreads, then it kind of the brokerage fee kind of doesn't go to the broker, except you just pay the spreads to
That's correct.
Ipsy, I'm guessing. Okay.
Got it in one. Okay, that's exactly it. What was I going to say on that as well? Oh, yes, that's right. And that is another problem people get confounded by, is you're selling short, right? And this is your TP where the crosshair is, just the bottom of that wick there, pretending, okay? It hit there and you're still in the trade. Why are you still in the trade? Why did your TP kick you out? Because it got there on 31. It's got to get to the if you sold, sorry, it got there, selling, getting out 31. Is that correct? I've got the wrong way around. I'm confusing myself now. You sell short. That's right. Yeah, it's got to get out on the actual spread differential. So in other words, normally what I do is I'm aiming at, let's say, I'm going long, I'm aiming this figure here, that's the previous high. I sometimes put the target about 4 or 5 pips below that. So the spread covers it when it kicks in. So if I'm going long, I'm getting out on 28. If that says 31, even though that's hit 31 for argument's sake, you're still going to be in the trade because your 28 didn't hit 31. Your ask hits 31, and then it came off. Why are you still in the trade? Because the buy or the ask price at 31, we get out on the sell or bid price. So that's got to hit 31 to get out, not this figure here. So if you're going long, once you're in, you completely ignore that and just look at this guy here. So we go back to the CAD JPY, so you want to movement here. If you say getting at 20, you're still 1 pip down, even though you're actually 2 pips up, because you got a 20 on this, which was 17 on the bid. You're getting out on this price. This has got to get past 20 if that's the price you got in on. We're all clear on people mixing up spreads with commissions, with brokerage, not brokerage, with leverage and all the rest of it. All the leverage means is smaller deposit. Higher leverage, smaller deposit.
Roger.
Yeah.
So on the Brent trade, the stop loss there of 80.39.
Yeah.
When will it hit the stop loss, on the sell or on the buy there?
It hits on the buy because you're going on the sell. Buy hits it on the sell. So if this comes down, your stop loss is 80.02. That says 80.07. You're going to get stopped out because that's you bought at that, you're out of this. So if you put your stop loss at 80, yeah, it gets out in that one. So that's correct. Gets you out in the sell because you bought or out in the sell.
Because we're on the short, so it must hit the sell at.
If you're on the short, sorry, wrong way around. I'll look at the buy. Sorry. Yes. If you're on a short, beg your pardon. Sorry. And your stop loss is there, you're getting out on that. You're getting out on the buy. So if you're going short, going up, and your stop loss is here, right, 82.20, what's the difference? It's 5 cents difference. On the sell price, it might say 18, what's the 5 cents? 82.15 on the sell, but the buy says 82.20, you get out on the buy. So if you sold on this one, you're getting out on this figure here. So that's got to hit this figure. If you're, let's say you've got a stop or TP at 80, this figure here has got to get to 80 before you kicked out in SL or TP. That is where you kicked out on. And if you're short, sorry, that's on the short. If you're long, you ignore that, you kicked out on this. So if I'm going long on Brent, right, and my TP is $81, that has got to get to $81, not this guy here, to me to be out. The opposite way around this week, exactly. Are you with me, Fanny?
Thanks. I just want everybody to have clarity. When you put a stop loss on, if you go for a sell, or which one will be hit, so that everybody can be not too much on their nerves, like myself.
Completely got to be clear, absolutely. Now here we've got a wider spread, as you can see. This is about an 8 pip spread, so a slightly wider spread on the NAS, because it's more volatile, basically. But yeah, so just bear that in mind. And that's why if you're on the spreads account, you think every time I enter, I'm so unlucky, every time I see a red. Well, you will do, because you're getting in the buy on the long and getting out in the sell. So if you go in now, right this instant, you're going to be 8 pips down, or whatever. What is it now? I think 8 pips spread or whatever. Okay, you get the idea. Anyway, what I think the NAS, it still seems to be climbing, doesn't it? I'm not touching it now, by the way, Didi. If you want to chase it now, you go for it. I'm not going to. To me, look at that movement since down here. When's this date here? March, about where we now 4 months ago. It's been pretty bloody strong. Is that going to continue? Well, it could do, but I'm not chasing these levels here. And it's far, no ways you're going to short it. The momentum is still very, very positive. To me, it's too high to chase upwards. And the momentum's too high to sell it. So I'm going to leave the Dow and the NAS alone. Dow, I'm looking at possibility there, to be fair. But I think the NAS, I'd rather really wait confirmation before I do one or the other. PPI today, Powell, I believe, is speaking next week. Interest rates coming on later in the month. There's talk it might be another 0.25% increase. That's all going to affect it. I think for the moment, unless you really know the NAS, you're taking short-term positions, etc. You're playing around. Fair enough, up to you. But I'm just going to stay clear for the moment. Plenty of options will come about. Wonderful thing to trade. I get that. It can be a hell of a profit if you get it right. It can make up for 3 or 4 bad trades that you've had in your forex. A good run on this one because as it folds in, it moves. When you get it right, you're not talking a couple hundred pips here. It's all 500, 600, 700, 800 pips. What a pleasure. At the moment, just be patient with this. Boring old discipline. Effort and discipline. Yeah. It needs to be done. Okay, so that's my opinion anyway. Okay, just going back to Nikki there. Are you good now with contract signs and this and what it means? Are you good with that? Does it make sense to you now? If you want to do that in Mvuzo, do the AUD USD. If you want to do PPI, but don't get too cute with it. It's not the firework job. That's experience. It might be this time now. I said it. It's Murphy's Law. But normally speaking, it's not likely to be the big fireworks you got the CPI, but it still gets some movement. So if you want to do it, I think the AUD USD might be an idea. Okay, suggesting. Yeah, sorry, Nikki. Okay, fine. Nikki, are you guys now good with, we talk about contract value?
I think I got contract value for the rest. I'm just trying to, I'm still stumbling, or maybe I'm overthinking the part with the Forex one with the base currency. When you multiply that by the base currency. So I think I might be overthinking.
Well, the base currency is the first one, simple as that. That's the base currency, the Canadian. That's the secondary currency. So you buy or sell the base currency. And the contract size is not 100,000 times this figure here. It's just 100,000 Canadian dollars. That's your exposure. That's the price of your car, your house. You put a deposit down, but the price of the car is 200 grand. Whether you put a 5 grand deposit, 10 grand deposit, 15 grand deposit, that's up to you. The point is the car is 100,000 Canadian dollars. You get the idea, and that's your exposure. And that's the move you've got to keep an eye out. So you've got a highly leveraged account. It means you've got a tiny deposit. The problem with that, you maybe in your head only 1,000's come out of your account, but on a 500, you've got the actual exposure is 500 times that. The actual car you're buying or the house you're buying doesn't have to go up or down. Up, not a problem going long. Doesn't have to come off very much for you to be margin called. That's the problem, because you're forgetting your exposure is so high. Make sense? If you're doing the Dow, it's 100. It's 10 times the figure you see there. I'll do it for you. It's 10 times your figure you see there in US dollars. Going to get into rands. If you're doing the NAS, same principle. Where's the NAS? Here we are. This is the normal one is 10 times that figure there. On the micro contract size one, it's $15,000 exposure. But on the currency, it's just the base currency. So it's the NZD CAD. It's $100,000 exposure in the standard, not the mini or micro. If it's a CAD JPY, it's 100,000 Canadian, US dollar, yen, it's $100,000. Get it? None have the yen as the base currency. Okay. Then we'd have to be something like 1 million. In fact, maybe about 10 million or something. And then you'd have to have it confuse everyone by having a contract size of 10 million, because the yen is obviously 100 or so to whatever. Makes sense?
Could you just go over the part where the danger of having a 1 to 500 accounts when people don't realize how overexposed they are? And in, is it right to say increase their lot sizes?
No, the other way around. 500 to 1 means a smaller margin, the higher leverage. Means it's fine if you're a top driver and you're in the Autobahn, you know how to drive the car and it's capable of doing 300 and you're expert, that's fair enough. But a lot of these guys are not experts, they don't understand, and they're driving beyond the speed limit, which they're confident with in their head. So that's why I'm a bit iffy about the 500 one, especially for first-time players, because they're not understanding it. So I think safer for them, it protects them, is 100 to 1, which means they've got a higher deposit. So they can't go in too big because they don't have the margin, but they can go in much bigger if they've got a higher leverage account because the deposit is smaller. Remember, 500 to 1, a million rand house on a 5 to 1 leverage means your deposit is 2 grand. If you don't understand that, you buy a house at 2 grand. That house price doesn't have to move down very much, far less than even 1% movement downwards, and your margin call, you're out. So yeah, so nothing wrong with leverage as long as you understand it. In fact, ignore the bloody leverage and get the calculator. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you got on the calculator there, it says 100 rand per micro. Doesn't matter what leverage it is, you know that 100 rand per micro is your risk. So you know if you can afford to risk 1,000 rand, you go in 10 micros. The leverage is irrelevant now because your risk, you know, before you click the button, the worst scenario is 1,000 rand. Once you start modifying your stop towards, never away means increasing your risk. But if you start modifying your stop towards, it could decrease your 1,000 rand to 900, 800, whatever it happens to be. So rather use a calculator, you don't have to worry about the leverage. The guys are not using the calculator, just going in far too big because they don't understand it and they're getting margin call. It happens every day. Not because any other reasons, don't understand it.
Okay, Roger, just going on
Yeah.
that contract size story. If I understand it correctly, just hear me out here. Say, let's just use the, maybe let's just use DJPY.
USD,
I've got, if I've got use JPY. If I've got 200K in my account, $200,000, I can easily buy one lot, am I correct? And still have 100,000 open as a
Sorry.
margin. Is that?
okay, just a second.
No problem.
No, hang on. Some just comes through here. They're going to do the GPCA check. Probably you know what the level, so I'll ask that in a minute. Not that one, do you? No. 170 and 335. No, it's going to be sent out, so that's why I did the WhatsApp from the company. 340. and 670. 3. Was it 300, 510? 335 times 3 is getting to 995. 400, 426.80. Yeah, 105, 1340. Done. Okay, sorry, could you repeat that question?
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So say if you've got $200,000 in your account, that means I comfortably can buy one lot, which will cost me what, 100,000. Am I correct in saying that? Because the contract size is 100,000. Or am I missing it here?
No. You're in the house selling business. I'm going to come to your show. I don't do it anymore. In the past, I used to do a show house. And the price of the house is 1 million rand, right? That's the contract value. That's the house price. That's my exposure. That's what I'm buying. But if you buy cash, you got 100,000.
I got you now.
You got it. I'll hand you 1 million rand plus cost. Never mind the cost. To make an example, 1 million rand, that's my house. But I don't have 1 million rand. Derivatives are basic. You're in derivative when you put a deposit down. That's your derivative. The problem is when people buy stuff, they're buying liabilities. They're not buying assets. They're leveraging in a liability rather than asset. The idea of leveraging is to leverage an asset for business, to grow their business by leveraging an asset. Well, often a house can be that way once it's obviously comes to the party. It's not guaranteed. But once you go and buy a car, you're leveraging an asset. Buy clothes, deposit, a durable goods like washing machines or hi-fis. They go down in value, yet you're paying interest by leveraging. So that's the where consumer debt and world debt is so high, because people have been leveraging liabilities to buy stuff. That's the whole reason why got it now. Quantitative easing came in, was to lower interest rates. So the guys can sell their stuff at cheap money. All they're doing is selling debt. If you don't pay cash and you can't afford to pay cash, you can't move your goods. So you can't employ extra people, you can't grow your business. So you want lower interest rates so people now can afford the monthly. But what you're actually selling is debt.
That makes sense.
Out of hand. You got it now. That's what's happened over the last couple of years. It's got out of hand. That's why these increased interest rates to bring down this inflationary area. Same principle. So if you got $100,000 and you got $100,000 in your account and you're 5-1-to-1 leverage, well, let's have a look at the deposit of yours. Let's have a look. You want to buy a standard lot, right? Go to specifications. And you multiply by 100,000 by 0.003, that comes into, I'm telling you right now, 100,000, 10,000, 1,000. It's about $330. So if you go in for one standard lot, your exposure, the price of the house, the car is $100,000 on that kind of deposit. That's your deposit. That's what asking for a deposit. $330 will come out of your account. The residual 330 from 100,000 is the balance which has been lent, like when you buy, we've got a bond, you pay interest on it. That's the daily interest rate. It's called the swaps. Okay. Now you're with me, Pietro.
Yes, now I'm with you. It's making more and more sense every time we discuss it and think of.
That's why we'll go again. Is it sent to Nikki? I'm pretty sure to Gerard and. Because they've done, funny in that, because they've done it before. But I'm for other guys now. You've got the picture now. Don't think this. Think buy car, buy house, same principle. It does indeed, yeah. Put in your head, buy house, buy car. You put deposit down, but your car is your exposure. The balance you're paying the interest on, and that's what's come out of your pocket. But don't forget, even though you've only put 20,000 rand down, you've driven out the showroom with your 200,000 car. Don't forget, you're not responsible for 20 grand, you're responsible for 200 grand. You've been lent the money, but the bank's a money lender. It's not a car seller. You're responsible for that car. You get it, same principle. I think that's the same as the commission. They say, oh, the commission's high. The commission account, they're paid out of whatever it is, standard lot, it's high. No, it's actually peanuts, because they think the commission on the deposit. No, it's on the outstanding amount. When you sell houses and I'm putting a 5% deposit down, you're not getting a commission of 5%. You're getting a commission on the exposure, the house value. Same principle. Okay, or long last, all clear on that. Valuable stuff, and hopefully we'll stop people doing things that make mistakes which can be sorted out. Market jumping around we cannot control, but that we can. Well, good luck, good luck. Good luck on the PPI. Just don't expect any fireworks, so good luck. See how you do tomorrow morning. We'll do a bit of catch up on that. Don't want to get off the yen because I'm still annoyed on that. No, I shouldn't be. What's done is done. Let's have a look. CAD JPY still hovering, nothing happening there. What's on GBP CHF? Has it been sent out yet? Why is it sent out there? Not on the there. That's bloody marvellous. He hasn't put it on there. Where's he? Hang on. I haven't got on my. You should have sent it to me first and get it out to my VIP group. Marvellous. Oh, he's already done it. Sorry, he's pretty quick actually. Damn.
Got it already.
Yeah, he's done it. Yeah. Normally they ask me for the levels, but Clemson's doing it today because Jark's had gone away for a weekend, not gone away for a day or whatever. And clearly he's intelligent enough to work out the levels himself. That's fair enough. Okay, good. Well done anyway. GBP sitting what was the time? GBP CHF. Anything happening there? Right, a little bit. At least it's a slight bit of blue there. Pretty light, very, very, very light blue. Better than any colour of red egg. So okay, guys, it's 10:57. I'm glad we cleared up that stuff. Vicky, Pietro, hope the others as well. But we'll always go back in a quiet mode. There's people still trying to get a bit much because, well, a bit much or not, you've got to understand it. It's very important. That's right. Just thank you, Marie. That's right. You did the Brit one. I said GDP, I think, not the PPI. It doesn't matter. You can try it, but as long as you didn't lose out, even if you make 1 pip profits, at least you didn't lose. That's the main thing. But the fireworks CPI, in my opinion, even more for first time I think in history than the non-farm. Non-farms use the granddaddy. But I think the CPI at this stage of the game is even more important. But anyway, they're both important. The others you can play around with. Well, you can have a lot more fingers crossed on Brett. You're going to need a lot of Murphy's luck on law on that one. But what is the dollar doing? Let me check. Sorry, let's check before we close off. What is the dollar doing? What is the bloody dollar? It's still coming off. It's still coming off. I think kiss goodbye to that Brent brother. Anyway, whatever. You got your stop. Let it run. That's about it. At least we've got some trades out. We'll check again tomorrow morning. Happy trading the rest of the day, and yeah, and then hope it comes right for you guys. Okay, catch you tomorrow. Hope all good. Unless there's anything last thing you want to run by before we go. Thanks, Marcus. Anything else quickly before we go? Are we all good? You do okay there, Martin? Yesterday, well done.
Thank you all. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
pleasure. Okay, guys.
Nice session. Thanks, George.
Fantastic, and thank you. Great stuff, Martin. Good stuff. Okay, got my number if you desperately need me, or whatever. I'm there. That's it. Cheers.